Hi, so we're just going to look at a few things we did in class the last day. As I said, there's about 3 main things that you have to watch out for. It's breathing, so nice big deep breaths. We're breathing, we're expanding the lungs, we're expanding the rib cage, open out the chest nice and wide. We're also looking at neutral pelvis, so this is this area back here in your back and in connection with your hips. And we're also looking at pelvic control, so that's the muscle that's kind of deep down your pelvis. It's the kind of muscle that helps you kind of hold in wind, stop peeing mid-flow, that kind of thing. So we're going to get used to contracting that and contracting those deeper kind of core muscles, as well as contracting the bigger muscles on top. So if we want to make the most of it, we have to contract the deeper ones first and then contract the big ones. So we'll go through the movements. I'm going to go through about 9 in total. So you can stop the video as you go if you want to kind of break it down and go through each one yourself. It'll just make it easier. You don't have to go through it. It's just something I thought somebody might want to do. So first one off, we're going to come down onto the mat in 4-point kneeling. So we're going to have the wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, and we're going to come about hip width apart with the knees. So we're just like a table. So we're just going to drop the head as we breathe in and arch the back up towards the ceiling. And as we exhale, we bring the head up and drop the tummy towards the floor, so we end up arching our back and sticking our bum out. Okay, so we're just getting a nice smooth movement between the pelvis and the head. Breathe in and out. So you do about 6 to 8 of these, and when you're doing this, you're looking for the arms and legs to remain nice and steady, but all the movement is occurring here. This is kind of your pelvis moving your lower back, and as well as that, you're moving your head and neck. Okay, so this is kind of give you a stretch, and you want to go the full range of motion, so you don't want to come up, down and kind of stop halfway here, especially if you've got a bit more to maneuver here. Okay, so do about 8 of them, breathe in, breathe out. Next up, we're going to look at just a bit of arm movement and leg movement. So this one is just when we're doing this movement, which we did last day, moving one arm and then going into the legs. We just want to move one limb at a time. We don't want to be moving and tilting to one side. So we're going to take a deep breath in. We're going to tense up the tummy. As we exhale, we're going to slide an arm out and reach. So as you can see, all this movement is my shoulder. I'm not leaning to one side as I lift up. Exhale as we go to the other side. Breathe in to come back. And swap over and back a few times. Okay, so exhale to reach. Breathe in to come back. And imagine somebody kind of pulling your arm to pull it out of the socket as you reach. So you want to kind of lengthen that arm, but you don't want to follow through with it. So someone's pulling that arm out of the socket. So imagine the limb being pulled away from you. Come back in. And you can try the leg as well. You can take a deep breath in, tense your tummy. Exhale, slide the leg back. Try and reach the wall behind you. Breathe in, come back in. And exhale, slide this out. So as you notice, when I'm lifting the leg back, I'm not, let's say when I lift this leg up, I'm not kind of leaning to one side and then leaning back. You just drag your knee across the mat and reach as you exhale and breathe in, come back. Okay, so you do a number of them each side. Just bring your leg forward, cross it over, and you can stretch this one out. So this is a stretch for your left side. Hold it for a number of seconds. If you want to increase the stretch, just lean over. Let's say some people the last day they found it very hard to kind of lengthen the leg back out nice and long, but over time you might just tighten the front so it stops you getting down in deep. So you just hold it for a number of seconds, up to 30, and you can drop over onto your hip. We turn around nice and smoothly. And next up we look at the 50-50. So just drop onto an elbow, drop down onto the mat, bring your heels up near your bum. We're going to get our hands, so we're just going to turn our hands into C's like so, and put them on the crests on the hips. So this is for 50-50, this is to get neutral pelvis. And when we're doing a lot of exercises, we want the lower back to be in neutral position. Okay, so neutral position usually means kind of a small arch between the mat and your back. So as we breathe in, we're going to roll our hips and flatten out our back into the mat. So there's no space between you and the mat. As we exhale, we roll it the other way. So there's a nice space. I can get my hand fully through. Some people are more arched than others, so I can get my hand fully through there. So breathe in to flatten. Exhale to go the other way. Do this about 6 times, breathing in, breathing out, and then settle on roughly a 50-50 position. So you're just kind of halfway between the two, and you just have a small arch. So when we're doing the exercises, we're going to try and contain that small arch and keep that pelvis in control and maintain that position, which will help protect our back with some of the exercises that we're going to do. So next up, we're going to look at, let's say, a spine roll with a glute bridge. So this is just to get a bit of movement into each level of the spine. It can be very nice for the lower back, just to get a bit of movement at each level. So hands flat on the mat, open out the chest, so nice shoulder contact. As we're starting off in the 50-50, so we have the small arch already. As we breathe in, we flatten our back into the mat. And as we breathe out, we push our heels into the mat, start rolling up one vertebra at a time. So your bum leaves the mat first, your lower back, keep pushing, 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 squeeze your glutes together until you have a nice straight line between your knee, hip and shoulder. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, you're going to roll back down one at a time. So you try not to come down in one big block. You try to roll down one segment at a time. Flatten your back into the mat. And then roll your mat or your back to that 50-50 position. So we have that small arch again. One more time, breathe in to flatten. And breathe out, squeeze your glutes together, push through your heels. Coming up one level at a time. Stop when you have a straight line between your knee, hip and shoulder. Deep breath in. And breathe out, roll down all the way. Nice control, nice long exhale. Flatten your back and then roll it back to that 50-50 position. Okay, so do a number of them. You can do 4 to 5 and well, do as many as you like, but 4 to 5 is a good recommended number. Next up, we're going to look at the pelvic floor. So this is the muscle. We didn't look at this the last day, but this is the muscle that stops us peeing mid-flow, keeps us holding in wind. So this is kind of all interconnected. If we get this muscle working correctly, it just braces the spine in a more deep position and it gets better core involvement and it just leads to better stability and a better exercise long term. Okay, so we're going to put our hands on our tummy, and when we're doing this, we're not looking for the big muscles to contract. So when we're going to do this, we're going to take a deep breath in, and when you're breathing in, you want to feel yourself kind of pulling the muscle upwards. So it's like you're holding in wind. If you're stopping, imagine yourself trying to stop holding P. So, and you just look for gentle contraction. So we're just looking for maybe a 20% contraction, just nice and gentle, nothing too severe. As we breathe out, we let it relax. So you should feel the muscle drop away. It'll take a few goes to get this going, so take your time doing it. Just breathe in. Just imagine yourself, as I said, holding in wind, stopping yourself peeing mid-flow. Exhale, let it relax. And do this maybe 5 to 6 times, nice and gently, breathing in. And breathe out. Okay, so when we this time do that a number of times, just to save time. I'm not going to keep going through every repetition, but let's say for the next one we're going to contract the bigger ab muscles on top of it. So we're going to do the pelvic floor first, and then we're going to brace the core. Okay, so this sets us up for all the exercises that we're going to do. It's the same sequence every time. So we're going to breathe in, pelvic floor, draw it up. And then at the end of the breath in, brace the tummy. So imagine you just tense your tummy up, and as you exhale, let everything relax. So one more time, just breathe in, pelvic floor. At the end of the breath, brace the tummy. So that just means the tummy is nice and solid. And breathe out, let everything relax. Okay, so to practice that's just going to take practice, and that's something you just have to do yourself a number of times to get good at it. But it's going to give you, this is something you need to do to get really good at all the exercises that we're going to do. Next up is going to be the 100. So we're just going to relax back. Again, we're going to keep the back in a 50-50 position. And this time we're going to put in our pelvic floor, brace the tummy, and get all that involved together. So this is a good exercise just to start putting things together. So we're going to take a deep breath in. Just to start off, the back is in a 50-50 position, so that's a small arch position. We're going to keep that throughout the exercise. We're going to breathe in, so pelvic floor, brace the tummy, and as we exhale, we pull ourselves up. So shoulder blades are off the mat, hands are hovering, and my back is still in the 50-50 position. We breathe in and out. That's one rep. Breathe in and out. When I'm doing this, I'm just looking between my legs, straight down at the wall, pick a spot, stick to it, breathe in and out. And just relax back. So over time we're going to end up doing 10 of these, but just start off, maybe do 2 to 3. The main thing is don't look up at the ceiling, that'll kick off your neck muscles and your neck might get a bit sore and a bit tired. So we'll do that one more time. We'll breathe in, pelvic floor, brace the tummy, exhale, pull yourself up, look straight between your knees, thigh region, breathe in and out. One more time, breathe in and out. Just relax back, and you can add up the reps, the happier and the better you get at it. So that's the 100. Next up, sit-ups, tabletop, do bridge. Okay, so we're going to do sit-ups. So we're going to get the hands, we get the hands out like so. So we're going to take a deep breath in. We're going to brace the core, pelvic floor first, tummy tight, exhale, pull yourself up. Breathe in, come back down. Exhale up. Breathe in, back down. When I'm doing this, I exhale to come up. That kind of contracts your tummy. Nice loud exhale. Breathe in through the nose. Exhale up. And when I do that, all that's coming off the mat is my shoulder blades, and my back is still in 50-50. So I haven't rounded my back. So I'm not doing this kind of kicking and flattening your back out. I'm keeping that pelvis region in a 50-50, so that's going to save my back from kind of getting aggravated. You get a lot of people doing big sit-ups and that kind of hurts their lower back. So if you do this, it'll still hit your tummy muscles, it'll still hit the core, but it won't strain your back. So one last time, hands here, deep breath in, pelvic floor, tummy solid, switched on, exhale up, keep it solid, breathe in, come back, exhale up, shoulder blades off the mat, breathe in, come back down. Do about 8 reps of that. Make sure you're not straining your neck. When you come up, you're looking straight between your legs, shoulder blades off the mat, keep the core switched on and keep that pelvis in neutral. Next up, we're going to do tabletop position. We're going to keep the legs up near your bum, and again we're going to lift the legs up into this position. Okay, so when we do that, we don't want to feel ourselves coming back, flattening out our back. We want to keep that small little arch position and keep that nice and solid. So we'll drop the legs down. We're going to take a deep breath in, pelvic floor, brace the core, exhale up, deep breath in, exhale with the other leg, and stick them together. Breathe in and out. Breathe in, we'll drop this leg down, we're going to touch the toe off the mat. Exhale, up we come. Breathe in and out. One more time each side, breathe in and out. When I'm doing this, my back is still in neutral. I'm not moving my lower back, all the movement is just happening here and here. Breathe in and exhale. Nice solid exhale. You can imagine when you breathe in and exhale, you can imagine your tummy muscles kind of pulling that leg back up. Drop one leg down, followed by the other. You can do as many reps as you like, maybe 4 each side. But just watch out for your lower back getting a bit sore. So that just means time to take a break, but just to focus back on keeping your pelvis in neutral, and that's going to save your lower back. Last off, we're just going to do glutes. So we're going to roll onto our side, and we're going to go nice and long. We're going to bend the knees, so we're going to have a straight line between our shoulder, hip, and ankle. So it's usually the way to keep this in line. So the last day, there's a few people, let's say, with the ankles out here or just back here. Okay, so you just have to have everything in line. So if you lift up the leg like that, you get your elbow over your hip and your hand is in line. You can see it's just in line with your ankle. Just drop that down. Hand out in front for balance. We're going to do the clam, and then we're going to do some circles. So we're going to take a deep breath in, pelvic floor, brace the core. So from the waist up, you're not going to move. Exhale, come up. Breathe in, back down. When I come up, I'm not going to rock back. So I'm not going to go too far that I go back this far. Just imagine a glass of water resting behind your back. So when you bring the legs up, you're not going to roll back and spill it. So breathe in, come down. Exhale up. Breathe in, down. Do about 8 of these. Again, Keep the core switched on from the waist up. Is it moving? And when you're doing this, you're focusing on feeling it in the side of the hip. So if you feel any tension down the leg or the calves or the feet, just relax, go again. But you're always trying to focus on this region for this exercise. We're going to straighten up the leg. Hand up front, deep breath in. Exhale. Up we come to about this height. Breathe in. Flex the foot. And exhale. Let's do circles with our heel. So there's a straight line going from your hip out through your heel. We're doing about 6. So 1, 2, that pace, 3, and so on. Take a deep breath in, and we go about 6 the other way. So 1, keep the circle small, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Pause, breathe in, lower it down. Okay, so that's about 9 bits and pieces. First off, we did the cat camel. We did the arm and leg movement, the 50-50. The spine roll with the glute bridge, so that was squeezing the glutes to get us up one segment at a time. Pelvic floor, so that's one of the ones you have to really practice, and that's one of the big ones. So that's just going to help, even if you don't continue on doing these classes, it's just a really important muscle to be able to function the older we get, just with urinary incontinence, that kind of thing. It's a very important muscle to work, especially if you've had any kids. It's a muscle that goes through a lot. And it's a muscle that need to keep healthy for both male and female. So that's just one to take note of and keep an eye on into the future. The 100, so that's when we pull ourselves up. We did the sit-ups, tabletop, and the glutes just there. So the main thing is just to go over breathing. Don't worry about the breathing for now. When you're doing all these exercises, you kind of focus more on the movement. So the breathing just kind of clicks together after a while. But just try your best to keep breathe in, breathe out, just keep that sequence going throughout. When we're doing the pelvis, just keep that pelvis, just a reminder to never flattening your back fully into the mat. Always keeping that small arch, and that just means that you're kind of controlling that region, you're not just letting it move where it wants to move, you're kind of controlling it. And the last one is, as I said, the pelvic floor. So just keep those 3 things in mind, and maybe go over those exercises a few times, and then we'll just add to them as the class goes on. The class gets quicker and quicker and quicker, and over time, hopefully you get good enough that you want to go on to the advanced class. Okay, so that's it. If you have any questions, you can let me know. Thanks for watching.